everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of Road to Hagdom, because if you are not a K-pop hag already, you will be soon enough. This week we are going to be talking about all things bands. We're going to be talking about idol bands. We're going to be talking about indie bands. And yes, hang around. We have our wonderful crew. So this week we have Brooke, Mike, Amanda, Lucy, Trish, and Swenson, who are regulars, and we have a couple of special guests, Kirsty from New York and Lauren from Virginia.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome.
We will get to chat a little bit about with our guests in a minute, but first, what's everyone excited about? What's happened this week in K-pop?
Yeah!
Only one of.
We need to talk about that, obviously. Yeah.
Atlantis is coming out.
Strawberry Song.
Oh, Atlantis, yes, the MV dropped last night.
One
off.
Strawberry Song.
Only one off, please. What would anyone like to say about that?
I loved it.
It isn't queer baiting, okay?
No.
Just putting it right out there. It's totally not. There is no baiting. It is totally queer, so let's just embrace it, okay?
I was like, this is a BL. This is a BL, but it's beautiful.
Also beautiful.
It's a beautiful BL. Yeah.
It's
wonderful.
It's a beautiful video and a beautiful song.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yes.
I was saying after my reaction, it's just whatever their sexual orientation is outside of, this is just acting. It's a drama. Take it for what you will, right? So everyone needs to calm the down. Atlantis is dropping. When's that dropping?
When is it dropping?
I don't know.
The teaser came out today.
Yeah, the teaser came out today.
Mm-hmm. But I forgot the date's coming out. I'm excited because Highlight is coming back, and also Day 6 is dropping a whole bunch of teasers for their comeback as a group. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
Okay, well, while I've got Kirsty talking, Kirsty, tell us a bit about yourself and how you got into K-pop, and maybe what your first concert was.
Hi, everybody. Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Kirsty. I'm originally from Puerto Rico, but I live now in New York. I got into K-pop, and I feel like a lot of people got into K-pop the same way. But back in 2009, I was looking for an episode of an anime. A lot of people have seen it. It's called Hana Dango. And I looked up on YouTube, and basically, I think everybody has seen it or knows the transition from Hana Dango to Boys Over Flowers. So basically, that was my transition. But it was kind of a mistake because someone put on YouTube Boys Over Flowers because it was like a scene of the drama. But the drama that was in the scene was actually the Japanese drama, Hana Dango. But they put Boys Over Flowers. And back then I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to go by that. So I searched it up and I found Boys Over Flowers, and then later on, as the drama continued, I went into the OST, and that's how I found out about SHINee and SS501. And then after that, after I completed the drama, I just sat down one day. I was like, okay, so what is SS501 and SHINee? What is that? And let's see if there's more of that. So basically, that's what I did. I just researched one day a whole bunch of groups. And yeah, that's how it's been since 2009, just researching and following groups. My first event was actually a fan meeting back in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. Boyfriend came to Puerto Rico. It was our very first official K-pop event. They were the first group to have an event on the island. So yeah, I went to their fan meeting. I had to go. I was like, this is the first one. We have to go. So I went. It was super awesome. The opening act, I loved them because they basically performed 3 songs of K-drama OSTs to get everybody into the mood. And it was just awesome. They did You're Beautiful, they did Boys Over Flowers, and then they did another one that I don't quite remember. And then Boyfriend performed, and it was awesome. Then the following year, we had our first official concert with B1A4. They did a date of their tour, their world tour. They did it in Puerto Rico, and it was really good because I got a front row seat, and I was able to collaborate with the fan base, and we did a gift for them. We went to the airport to receive them, and we also handed out a whole bunch of banners. It was just really awesome.
Lauren, how did you get into this whole mess?
I too, right around 2008, 2009, got into K-dramas, but I didn't really get into Boys Over Flowers from the anime to the, yep, exactly that. But I didn't really get into K-pop until 2017, right when BTS was doing the whole like big push into America and the AMAs and all that. And I really was like a huge EDM fan. And I used to go to festivals and stuff and all like that. But I watched DNA came up and I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. And then EDM and dancing choreography, because I've always really loved like dance crews and watching choreography and stuff like that. So I was like, this is great. Then I fell into like the BTS rabbit hole for like a couple months. I feel like people generally do that. And then I started to realize there is so much more K-pop, and I joined some fan communities and got some recommendations for new groups. That's when I started to get into like the next group I started to ult right after that was actually In Flying, which I'll be talking about later. So, and then from there, I've just kind of watched the survival shows and all the underrated boy group. I'm like the underrated boy group aficionado. So like let me show you my children. Like I love them. So that's how I'm here now.
And what was your first K-pop event experience or concert experience?
I lived in San Diego when I first got into K-pop. So it was really great because I could just zip up the highway 2 hours and go to everything. The first K-pop anything I went to was the LA Korean, I think it was like a Korean cultural festival. It was at the Hollywood Bowl, and Rain performed, B2B performed, Red Velvet performed, NCT 127 performed, and then there was also some ballad singers. It was great. Like I lost my mind. So that's that, and that was in 2018. I think like April of 2018. So right about 3 years ago, and then I've just been crushing concerts. I crushed concerts pretty much the next like 2 years. Like anybody who came to LA, I was there.
Showing commercials. So this is really close to my heart because I'm an old rock chick. I was in a band in the 80s. I used to play keyboard in a band. I used to sing. We did sort of, you can say 80s stuff and some obscure 70s stuff. So I don't know how I actually transitioned into K-pop. When I first got into K-pop, I've mostly been into the pop side of K-pop. I really haven't dived that deep into bands, and I don't know why, as I still like that sort of music. So I'm counting on you guys to enlighten me on some of these groups. So we're going to go around and find out. Just firstly, tell us who your favorite groups are and why, and also how you got into bands. Like, were bands your gateway into K-pop, or were you into K-pop already and then you discovered the bands? Let's go with we'll give the noobs the rest for a minute. Brooke.
The first time I ever listened to a Korean band was in 2014 when Royal Pirates' Love Toxic came out. And it was kind of my introduction into what bands were in Korea, because in English music, I pretty much had only listened to bands and rock music. So when I got into K-pop, I was kind of trying to listen to stuff that was more unique that I had never really heard of. So I stayed away from bands. I have no idea why. It was stupid because they're good. But yeah, I listened to bands like that, like CN Blue and Royal Pirates for a couple years. And then when the Rose debuted didn't debut, but when Sorry came out, that was when I first heard of them, and I kind of fell in love with them, and it's all been downhill from there. More recently, I've really been getting into, I have Lucy's albums, I have Bandage's album, and I really love that type of music. I think Lucy and Bandage give very like comforting feelings in their songs that you don't really get in some K-pop just because of the instrumentals, and there's like an intimacy there. And really recently, about 3 months ago, Rolling Quartz debuted, and they stole my heart. I love them so much. They're a lot heavier than what you see with like Lucy, but I still really love that. They really go for the more like heavy rock, and I really wanted to get into that a little bit more, which I'm hoping some of you guys can help me into that sort of area, because I haven't gone there too much yet, but I'm excited to find out.
Mike, tell us your K-band story.
Well, I'm I'm born in the 80s, but my musical tastes really were formed in the 90s. So, like going into K-pop and K-rock and all of that, like my gateway, of course, was through Japan. So like Deer & Grey and things of that nature. So more of the heavier alt rock, heavy metal. So like I started like in the 90s, like with Cherry Filter and Warham, you know what I mean? And they're very much more alt rock, a little harder, but they're both got female lead singers. Really, really good music. Like you should listen to Romantic Cat by Cherry Filter. I'm sure every single one of you people will love that song. You'll be like, what am I doing? I know a lot of people haven't heard of Nell before, but with yes, no. Like
No.
Tales of the Nine, the Tale of the Nine Tail that just came out. Jong Won sang the opening, the OST song for that. And Blue Moon, I was not aware it was him. But all of a sudden I was like watching this drama and I'm like, wait, I know this voice. So it's like a blast from the past coming at me. I'm like, oh my goodness. And it really brings it back. But just like Brooke here, I've been really steering away from K-rock or K-bands. Pretty much been focusing on the pop side of things because I got into Shiny and the SM model and all of that, and it was just you start getting into that sound. But like CN Blue and Flying, they all just capture a sound that's a little bit more up, a little bit higher. You get a little bit more bounce from it. And just like Brooke, I've got all of the Lucy, I've got all of that, and that's all stemming like from Superband. Superband brought me back to K-bands, and Superband was, it brought it all back together. So that's where I'm at with the K-band.
Amanda.
So before, when I discussed how I found K-pop, it was the watching Cinderella and the Four Knights, which had Lead Junction in it. So CN Blue was really my first K-pop love. So I sort of started with bands and then moved into like pop groups, and then kind of have moved back to bands more now. So also one of the OSTs for Cinderella and the Four Knights was the Dick Punks, and I really like them. And a lot of the groups that were already mentioned, super bands groups, like I love Purple Rain, but like lately I've been listening a lot more to the Solutions, which are not really a K-pop band. They're more of an indie band, and I love them. They were like, Spotify is like, you listen to them too much, find something new. I'm like, okay, chill out. And probably like my favorite song last year was Let's by Hoppy Paula. I like to listen to a lot of different stuff, but yeah, like K-bands have always kind of been on my radar, and more, I think the same thing Mike said, like there's just something about it. Like there's more energy sometimes, or it's upbeat, or I don't know. I dig it.
Lucy.
I listened to a lot of bands. I got into them pretty quickly from getting into K-pop in general, starting with FT Island. From there, basically, I think my Spotify roundup from last year was more than half bands. Wow. And I'm terrible at picking favorite. My favorite of the minute, April 2nd, which I've got an absolutely massive list in front of me of stuff. So I hope you're all ready.
Yes, let's go.
Yes, we are.
Yeah,
Yes, we are.
totally, totally.
Let us. So who are these? Get going. Drop the groups. Drop the names.
Yes, please.
All of them that I've gotten written down.
Just. We'll tell you when to. I'll cut you off. I'll cut you off.
Lucy, Lucy, start with tracks.
Yes, track.
I've just got tracks SM WTF with question marks after it on this piece of paper. They just did not belong there whatsoever, did they really? Let's be fair.
They're better.
The only thing that belonged there was their beauty. They were beautiful. And that was the only reason SM was a fit in any way. But yes.
I've got them sort of sorted into categories to mention up when people do. Ones I've got them into more idol bands and then more indie.
What's the first one on your list?
On the indie list or the main?
Indie list.
The first one is Soul Moon, which is actually female fronted, which I've also marked out to them with stars, the ones that are female fronted or co-ed, because there's a lot of those out there, just in case anyone was wondering.
Trish, tell us about your faves.
All
And
right.
how you got into bands.
Well, I grew up I was in high school in the 80s. So of course it was like hair bands and metal and yeah. And so, I was in high school in the late 80s and college in the early 90s. So it's sort of like concerts I went to were like Kiss, Poison, Warrant, those Bon Jovi, those kind of things. And then, you go forward, into my 30s and stuff, I kind of got into some European bands. Several of them were female fronted too. So you had like Lacuna Coil that was they're from Italy. And then some Scandinavian bands. There's like Within Temptation, Delane, and then it was interesting because another one I like was Apocalyptica, and they have like 3 cello players. So that kind of transitions into like some of the bands I like in, Korean bands. You go Hopipola. When I discovered them in January of this year, I was like, I just love that they have Jinho's cello in there. It works so well.
Gorgeous.
Their music is just beautiful. I've only seen one Korean band in concert, and that was The Rose. And they were phenomenal. I have never been to a concert in my life where the crowd decibel level was that loud. It was in a small venue in Atlanta, about 1,000 seats. And I mean, it was astonishing how loud the crowd was. It is like the guys were just like blown away. It was so loud, but they were awesome. And it was like, even though they were all really jet lagged, that it was the first stop in America after they had flown from Korea. And so they were a little jet lagged, but it was still great. And it was sort of a kind of an accident that I went to that concert because I was already going to Atlanta for another event, Dragon Con. And it happened to be the same week. And I was like, oh, well, I can't miss this. So I've just sort of been kind of collecting bands here and there. I like Day 6, One Wee, of course, Hopipola, IZ. They're really underrated, I think. I really like them. They have a great lead singer, Jihu. He has a beautiful voice. And then Hyunjin is their guitarist, and all 4 of them are great. They just had a new song last month called Say Yes that's I think you all should listen to if you haven't. It's just gorgeous. Oh, and I was watching a video of them recently, and I can't remember how long ago this happened, but it's like it kind of shows their professionalism level, even though, they're not one of the bigger bands and everything. It's like they were playing somewhere, maybe one of the music shows, I can't remember. And like Woo-Soo, who is the drummer, early on in the performance lost his right drumstick. And I didn't even notice it till he continued to drum with his hand throughout the rest of it. And it was, wow. You didn't even notice until I read in the comments. And then I went back and watched it. I was like, well, I'll be, he didn't have a drumstick through most of that performance. I like 2Z as well. I think they debuted early last year. They sound different to me. It's like they lost a member and everything. And they kind of adjusted their sound a little bit, but I really like their stuff too. And I think it was Brooke that mentioned Bandage. I like them too. So
the singer's voice, Bandage, is one of the most beautiful voices
yes.
I've
Beautiful.
ever heard.
Mhm.
They give me Coldplay vibes. Something about them gives me like Coldplay vibes, and I'm just like,
yeah.
I love this.
Okay, Swenson.
Hey, so in my case, I grew up because I was born and raised in Malaysia. So the whole band concept thing wasn't really as big of. I mean, of course, we do get Western music in the late 90s and early 2000s. So I think back then my knowledge, or like rather my perspective towards what a band music is like, was dictated by one song, and it's by Fool's Garden, Lemon Tree, and that's like all I know about what constitutes a band before I got into K-pop. So okay, fast forward into 2010, I started paying more attention into like the band side of Korean music, but just barely. It was like a short period of time. So back then it was FT Island mainly, and then up till today, I think I still hold one of their songs called "I Wish," dear to my heart. So that was early 2010s. And then
Great
again,
song.
fast forward 7 years later, which in 2017, this is Day 6 is merged, and I kind of felt like Christy is also a My Day, so high five.
100%. High five.
Back in 2017, I came across a band called Day 6, which is under JYP. They're a 5-member band. The early music kind of gravitates more towards pop rock. So like for the first album or two, it's like heavily metal and stuff. I mean, in my perspective, heavily metal, because I've never been really into what constitute a metal music or whatsoever. That was their first 2 albums. And then 2017, Day 6 came about with a project called Everyday 6, in which they put out 2 songs every month for the entire year of 2017. So that's like 24 songs within a year. And I felt like it's something that's not been done previously in the like Korean music industry scene before. And that period of time really got me into Day 6, a band. And they've split the whole Everyday 6 project into the first half, which is January through till June. They've got an album called Sunrise. And then the second half of the year, they had an album called Moonrise. It felt like a cycle. Even their cover photo, it was being illustrated in a way how a clock would run, an analog clock anyway. Yeah, I felt like Day 6, they stand unique in the industry. Their music appeals to me because they've got like a diverse discography up till today. They've easily got over 50 songs, and like their genre ranges from reggae to rock, a cappella to Brit rock, lo-fi to bossa nova and ballads. So if anything, Day 6 was one of the reasons why I've been starting to pay more attention into band-centric music. I call myself someone who bonds really well with like the emotional aura that comes along with instrumental stuff. So yeah, I felt like this is my calling, like at least in the context of like K-pop and stuff. Shout out Day 6 and also shout out Janabi and Say Sonyeon.
Okay, we're getting to our guests. Kirsty.
How I got into rock. So my parents, they used to listen to like a little bit of everything when it comes to music, like English, Spanish music. And so like I grew up listening to like Aerosmith and Bon Jovi and things like that. And then like in Latin America, we have like Mana. And so like I grew up listening to like rock in English and in Spanish, but like around junior high school, I started to get into like newer bands, I guess. I don't remember if it was that new, but I remember getting into Maroon 5, like their first CD. I brought it. It was amazing. I love the memories. So yeah, Maroon 5, Simple Plan, Yellow Card, those type of bands. And I really connected with their music because they had like their like, how do you say, like their intense music, but then they had music that was like very relatable in the sense of like what I was going through in my life as a kid. And so I just really connected to rock, like in the sense of in a more sentimental aspect of like, finally somebody understands what I'm going through. It was just like that, like especially with Simple Plan and Yellow Card, a lot of their songs were like on point with what I was feeling. So I just felt a real connection with like rock music. And so when I started getting into K-pop, the first one I found was FT Island. They were the first one, like when I sat down, like I told you guys, when I sat down to research K-pop, they were the first band that I found. I also found tracks, and I don't remember the song that it was. They have like it's a super emotional song. I forgot the name, but it was beautiful. So yeah, justice for tracks. So yeah, because it was absolutely beautiful. Like, absolutely beautiful in terms of the musicality, and their voices just beautiful. But yes, FT Island. So FT Island were the first ones that I found, and the first song that I heard from them was I Hope, and that song was a little bit more like popish. It was a little bit, click to dance to a little bit. And then I kept researching them, and they had like really intense, sentimental, like ballad type rock. And I was like, oh, this is beautiful, because I love ballads. I know a lot of people don't love ballads, but I love ballads. Like I'm in love with ballads in every single, like giving it in English, Spanish, Mandarin, Japanese. I love ballads in every language. So yeah, FT Island, I really love their like instrumentals, because you could like hear like classic instruments and everything. It was just like, wow, what is this? Like, I just fell in love with them. Like I just binged on all their music. And what I loved about them as well is that their music videos were like mini dramas, which I was really into. I was like, oh my God, this story is so tragic, but wow, the music is beautiful. So it was a mix of emotions. I was like, I don't know. Like, and sometimes, the lyrics weren't available. Like it's the struggles of.
You don't need lyrics. You just need emotion.
Yeah, it was just beautiful. It just felt really beautiful. I was like, oh my God. And Lee Hun-ki's voice is just amazing. Like the way he is able to convey emotions. I was like, oh my God, are you okay? Like, is everything gonna be okay? But like, oh my God, his voice is beautiful. And then after that, I was watching You're Beautiful, the drama You're Beautiful. And Hun-ki is there, and also Younghwa from CN Blue. And then I found out that he was going to debut with the band CN Blue was going to debut shortly after, or like around the same time, because they had already debuted in Japan, if I'm not mistaken, and now it was South Korea's turn. So I was like, oh, another band, here we go. So yeah, after I finished You're Beautiful, I got into CN Blue, loved them. I loved I'm a Loser. That song is like, I get it. I totally get it. And then after that, like, it was just like Younghwa's voice as well. Like, wow, beautiful. And I like their songs, like, were, I don't know, they were like more chill. Like, very different from FT Island. So it was just really nice. Like, especially like the later ones, like Cinderella was nice. And yeah, they had a whole bunch of them, but I was like, oh, this is great. Like more bands. So yeah, after that, I just stuck with them. And then in 2016 is when I discovered Day 6. And I discovered them with a B-side of their debut mini album, which was Colors. And that song is simply amazing. It is so emotional. It's so beautiful. And that song, because they started off with 6 members. And then after their first comeback, they stayed with 5. And so after that, after Colors, I listened to Letting Go, which was their first comeback after their debut. And then after that, I was just like on my day. 2017 was very important because of the Everyday Day 6 project, because I had moved from home here to the United States. And like every month I was just looking forward to them, like their new music videos. And I feel like 2017 just solidified who they were. Like, they were finally getting the chance to present themselves as a band, and like letting people know here's like a lot of people don't know JYP had a band, so they were like, hey, we exist. Hi, we're Day 6. Like, hello. And it was just amazing. That project was like amazing. Like, Zombie really like was very how do I say, people really resonated with that song. A lot of people just focuses on the singles, which the singles are amazing, but the B-sides really have so much more like to give. Like, I feel like if you like Day 6, any song, just please check out their B-sides because it's just amazing.
Lauren.
Yes.
Lauren, tell us about your faves.
I enjoy a lot of the idol bands kind of more casually. I'd say like I'm just under Stan status for like 1 week. I saw the Rose live as well though in LA, and that was amazing, and I got to meet them, and that was really super cool. I have a picture with them, and Sammy looks like an asshole, and it's a fucking amazing. But it's a great photo. But my favorite group, and I would literally like lie on like it just please tour and flying. And Flying Please tour. They are one of my alts. Like I have loved them. Like they're the group that I have continued to love the longest of any group that I've cried happy tears more over this group than any other group. Like they just resonate so deeply. And as an Enfia, like we've kind of been through it, like this is the story of Flying. Like how they also debuted on the Japanese indie scene as 4 members, and then we gained a member. Debuted. They gained a member, lost a member, gained another member. It's really just like this story of like these really awesome men that just love music, and they're an idol band technically, but they really started to really get their footing once their leader Sungyeop was able to start writing their music, and then they had this viral breakaway hit that everybody knows as Rooftop, and they got their first win like 4 years after debut. I cried, the internet cried, everyone cried. Jaehyun. Oh my god, I love it. I legitimately love them. They're awesome people. I went back and watched Produce season 2 just to try to figure out like how did Hwaesung even get here, but how his dancing is still like iconic and a meme to this day. But the fact that he never sang on that show, like you don't even see him sing, and he is one of the best K-pop vocalists right now, period. Like their covers are always amazing. They always rearrange them. Their Queen cover, thank God they came to KCON and I could see them do their Queen cover live because that was absolutely amazing. And other covers, they have a lot of stuff on their Japanese channel that they did like a K-pop mashup that is absolutely amazing. I need them to do a pop punk version of Shine. Like that's what I need, a full pop punk version of Shine. I don't know. I really love like the Warped Tour. That was my music era. I used to go to Warped Tour every year, and I got into them when I was just kind of Googling I was just like trying to find new music, and I was like, are there any like song names that are really funny song names? And they were like, you got to go watch Hot Potato. And I was like, Hot Potato? Oh, what is this? And it was amazing. And the whole pun I didn't even recognize until like years later when I started to learn Korean, that like it sounds like hot potatoes, like a hot man, like I don't know, kamja, namja. But they're so funny, they're so clever. I watched that, then I watched The Real, and I just loved that bright pop punk kind of song. But they're capable of so much more. Like they have emotional ballads, they have like kind of rock ballads. Their B-sides arguably are, in my opinion, and most Enfia's are like some of their best stuff. Like the Yahoo album that Good Bomb was on, and that's like I will take that to a desert island with me and like hold it as I die. Like it's so good. It is beautiful. Autumn Dream is amazing. Sunset's amazing. Like the whole album is amazing. And if I can recommend anything to you, it's that. But I think they have like they can do everything. They can sing everything. They can remake anything and make it better. Like their Don't Cry cover is like the most beautiful thing I've ever heard ever. I thank God that I found out about The Cross because of that cover that they did on Sugar Man. Yes, Sugar Man. That's it. Exactly. That cover of Don't Cry is amazing. They went viral for that. I just feel like they go viral for being like amazing people, like saving women from like creeps following them and helping old men. They're just like legitimately go viral all the time for just being good people. And and FNC pays them actual dust. Like it's so frustrating. But I love them, and Fias are like some of the sweetest, most like gentle fandoms around.
In Flying was actually one of the only bands. I've been to quite a few concerts, but they're one of the only bands I've seen live. They were at Hallyu Pop Fest in Singapore in 2019, and Sunghye, wow, he was standing right in front of me.
Wow.
In front of me with his
so
foot
jealous.
on
I'm so jealous.
I'll insert a clip here, but he was standing in front of me with his foot on the speaker, sort of moist shirt clinging to him. I nearly passed the out. Okay, so I know some of you, and especially Lucy with her sign in the back, watch Superband. So actually, tell me, is Superband an annual? How often do they have it, or was it just a one-off? Because
it was a one-off.
They might do another one.
I want to watch it, but I couldn't find any with subs. So if you have
you will not find any subs anywhere.
All right.
It's been gone, and they've taken everything down. They've strategically taken everything off.
Through.
Oh,
so
man.
I can't watch it. I can't watch it anywhere.
No. Even
then
on the pirate stuff.
Why have you got to sign up, Lucy? Stop
You have to
torturing
watch
people.
the performances because they are.
You can't even watch the performances. I used to spam them.
No, you can on Naver. You have to go on JTB.
A Naver?
Naver.
So you've got to use a VPN. So you've got to use a VPN, pretend you're in Korea, and go on Naver.
Right. Pretty much.
You can listen to the songs on Spotify. Like they're all.
Yeah, I have the songs.
Yeah, all the songs are on Spotify.
What was the concept of the competition? What was the concept of it? How did they? Was it like Kingdom?
No.
Loads of individual musicians. Some from groups already. Some just buskers. All sorts. Some of them just played instruments, no vocals. Some were just vocalists. Blah blah blah. And they literally just auditioned and they put some through and they just worked together until they sort of whittled down like final teams that they'd made groups from, which Bandage, Lucy,
it was
Poppy
collective
Polar,
collaboration. That's what it was.
Purple
collective collaboration.
Rain, yeah. Woo Sung was on it from the Rose. But the group that he formed with a few others is like the only one to not do anything after the show.
So the groups they're in now. So Bandage was actually formed on the show.
Bandage.
By people, they're just putting people, and Lucy. Wow. And
Poppy Pioli, Lucy.
Okay.
Yeah, all of those bands.
I didn't realize that. I thought
I knew about Lucy and Purple Rain and Hobby Pola, but I didn't know Bandage was from that. But I love Bandage's music, so but today.
And then you had Kevin Wu. Oh my God, Kevin! But they're all on there. It was collective. Isaac Hong. It was collective collaboration. They went through all of the individual band components went through, and they all kind of fit each other, and they all performed various songs. Some moved on to different groups. Some stayed with their groups, and they were all. There was a 3-panel judge. The one guy was from.
Linkin Park.
My gosh, this is Linkin Park. Yeah, what's his name?
I can't remember it.
No, he's the only Asian guy in Linkin Park, and we can't remember his name.
I don't.
Mike Shinoda.
Yeah.
Yes, it was Mike. Thank you, Brooke. But it was a wonderful show, and I mean, I don't know if anyone else will agree with me, but the band that won belonged in the winning circle. I mean, 1,000 Times was a beautiful song.
Oh my God, I have that on repeat.
I know. I broke my heart. I was crying to it. I was like, I saw it the first time. It was like wonderful. But yeah, we came out of that. It like sparked my interest again, and like we were saying before, in bands again, and like it's. That sound like, and like even Lucy, they didn't keep the lead singer that was in Superband. They went with came in, I believe, something like that. But anyway, the sound was
Sungja.
so much. Sungja, yeah. The
Sung-
sound is all from that show was like so uplifting. It brought you to this like imaginative place. Like everybody came in collectively to make music together. It felt so jammy, and like you watched something behind the scenes and you saw how they were making music and they were enjoying making music, and it brought like joy to everybody. And that's like like you said, Frankie, you were in a band, you got involved in music making, and for me that kind of like put in my head how these people were all just jamming together, listening to all these music. They're like when IL was putting out these like wacky ideas about let's do this, and they're all going, no, I don't know if that's gonna work. And then they come out and you hear that cello going, and you're like, oh, wow, okay, it worked beautiful. Like we did Creep, like we're gonna do Creep, but with a cello.
That was
Okay,
phenomenal.
yes, it was.
Oh, I need to see
phenomenal.
that. Someone link me that someone send that to me on Twitter
it's
after
so
this.
so good.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
So I mean,
I love
you
the
never think.
the one of the groups did Time After Time, and I love it. I love that song, and then I love the version that they did. It was so good.
So now I want to talk a bit about what the difference, and I don't know a lot about it because as I said, I'm not that deep into bands. I've only probably watched mostly K bands. What do you think the main differences are between idol bands and the independent produced bands? Now, before we go into it, just let me show you this clip.
Your man.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Wait, what is that?
So that was Victor
Victor.
Hahn. Now I'll tell you quickly his story. He's half Brazilian, half Korean. He came and lived in Korea with his mother. He trained for 8 years and finally debuted. And I cannot remember the name of his group. And that's a good point too, because he is now so much more famous in the group. What happened was in the 3 weeks into debut, he was banned and kicked out of the group for breaking his drumstick on stage. It's been a long story. They said he was violent. He was being violent, all this sort of stuff. Anyway, he started up his own YouTube channel, became really big. Then the company sued him. It was a long legal battle, but now he's won. He's back producing his own drum covers. Good. Yeah, he's back on his channel. He's back. He went to Brazil for a while, came back. He's allowed to produce drum covers and everything. But the thing I think was interesting about this is that Victor had grown up watching metal bands, rock bands, who break their drumsticks. They smash guitars.
He's a band.
He did what he thought bands do in a performance, which is to snap a drumstick, or he might have already cracked it, whatever. He does break it, but whatever. Yeah. He accentuated that but no, you're not an indie rock band. You're actually a Korean idol band, and you cannot do that on stage. So that's and I think this is probably something that a lot of the young stars going into bands, they've got this perception of they want to be in a band, but the idol bands, they're constricted. So what do you guys think about what are the differences between and the music and also maybe the promotion and performance?
Yeah.
Well, I think we said something about Jay last episode about how he was online and he made a couple comments that were overly sensitive, perhaps, and it got him shut down. It pretty much they stifled everything, and they said JYP said that's not the image that we're putting out, and his Twitch went away. Basically, his entire online presence completely disappeared, and here we are.
It just broke my heart.
I mean, you have an image. I mean, look. I mean, we were talking about CN Blue. CN Blue is totally an idol band. It was produced and completely. They went through training just like any idol would be, and that is a product. Whereas the indie market it's more loose. More they already have something. They already come into it. But look at Jay. Jay is going to toe the line because he's under contract, and that's all there is to it. Yeah,
I think there's more creative freedom in an indie band, but like some of the idol bands get that creative freedom, like they earn it after years of towing the line. They get their new contracts, and those allow them more freedom or whatever. But I think an idol band is not. These are not kids that like met in high school and like.
No.
You know, played in grandma's garage, you know, like some of them are, but like,
Isn't that one week? Didn't that
not,
technically
you know,
1 week?
I think that's also
technically.
Janabi,
Yeah, technically.
I mean, I guess that's the dilemma of being like having the really distinctive indie bands and like idol bands in like the Korean music industry. I mean, in a way, not that indie bands, not that their work or like rather their productions are unworthy of public recognition, but I think it's more on like the restrictive standards on what the industry passes on as like a mainstream versus like a non-mainstream song. So like I felt like the standard itself, it's totally unfair and it needs to be flushed down the toilet like right now. Honestly, I mean I felt like I myself I kind of read indie bands as like small independent like productions, and like there's no a certain sound to like K-indies. It can give sort of vibes ranging from like, hey, here's some cinnamon rolls for you and I hope you enjoyed it, to like, screw you peasants, I'm gonna live my life. This is my calling and you better shut up before I snap. I feel like that's K-indie. And then and unfortunately that can't the same can't be said for like say idol centric K bands. So there is a distinct difference, I reckon.
There's a lot of gatekeeping going on too in the Korean industry, and we don't see on the Western side. We don't get to experience a lot of what is true indie from Korea. I mean, I was talking about like Nell earlier. They're an older band, and I consider them indie. They formed very organically. They got a contract. They signed with a big company, but the moment they signed, their music kind of changed. It became a lot more commercial, and their pointing and their direction changed. Their styling changed, and their fan base kind of went away. So people don't know Nell anymore. But it's very controlled in Korea, and I get it. They're making a product and they're putting it out a certain sound and they want an image, but it is what it is. But I wonder sometimes though, if we were drop us in Korea and we could go into their music scene and hear all the music that they're playing would be really, really interesting, because they have so much thing.
Yeah, there's such a thriving
how indie it is. You know what I mean? Like, is it just indie to us because the K-pop K bands, like the idol bands, are being marketed overseas and to a mass market, but that quote unquote indie bands aren't being marketed to us, so we don't see it. But maybe if we were in Korea, it would be like, yeah, like everybody knows this group because everybody listens to them, you know, like because there's a lot of acts that like Ball 4 and stuff are super popular in Korea, but we don't really get them that much because they're not pushed by the idol machine, you know.
No, I was just going to mention on like the whole Victor thing. I mean, obviously there's things we don't know at play there. But you were talking about how like snapping a drumstick over here would be nothing, but actually, and this is one of the huge reasons amongst like why there aren't a lot of bands on music shows promoting and stuff. And there was a huge incident in 2005 in Korea on a live music show with a punk band, and they invited some like audience members. Yeah, it's a punk band. They invited some audience members onto the stage, and some took off their clothes, and it was live airing. They couldn't shut it off in time, and since then, and in fact, actually, the band members were arrested amongst the people that the clothes as well. And after that, the government put down huge things on the broadcasting companies about bands and stuff. So it's so sanitized. They can't even play their instruments on a lot of them. But after they even cancelled that show on the spot, it doesn't exist anymore. That's a huge thing that factors into that whole discussion.
Yeah, definitely.
DK actually did a special kind of investigate, like talked about the history. I only knew about it because of them, but they did a video about it. If anyone's curious and wants.
Yeah, what was the name of the group or the show?
Oh, that's a good question.
Wasn't it
I'll-
Rue or
something
Rux
like
or
that.
something like that?
Rux or something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a huge like scandal, and it's left a huge legacy on bands in general in Korea.
Wow, that sucks.
It really
It's a
does.
shame because it's going to stifle that. You know, it's going to mean just
It
more
is
people
getting
on that.
better.
More people on
Yeah.
the.
It definitely
machine.
changed. I don't think that the Korean music scene is really like as open to band music as it used to be. I do think that there in the last couple of years since Superband, there was like such a vacuum for several years that I do think like there's a more of a hunger for it, and I'm definitely seeing it more recently. But I feel like since CN Blue, and there was like kind of a vacuum in the, I guess like the late 2010s and early 2010s that I feel like on like the Korean general public sense. You know what I mean?
Well,
like
I
it's
think
been
with CN Blue
not
and
long
then
after
flying,
that,
having
yeah.
the whole burning sun kind of stuff going down too.
Yeah.
I kind of put people's stuff
Yeah.
off on it
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
let's not say influence. It wasn't influence. It was,
Yeah.
but it was highlight.
No, it was. You know, they didn't step into it, but it was all in their universe, if you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, CN Blue, like there were members, and then
Yeah,
there were members of
yeah.
Highlight, and
Didn't one of the members left because of that?
of CN Blue.
There are only three now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Young
yeah.
human left. But I mean, they were all under the same company. There was a lot of blah 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 going on. It was really, really not
Well,
good.
and it's one of those things that if
That
bands
company.
are
Yeah, I
already
can't-
being questioned, right? Then if one bad thing happens in a label, then suddenly everybody under that label
Everybody
is questioned, right? Like
It paints everybody in a dark color. Yeah.
which sucks.
Did you all watch the clips I sent of that new group?
Yes.
I did.
Yeah.
What do you think? So I'll just put in a little clip for viewers. This band is half band playing instruments and half of them doing choreo out the front. I don't know. What do you got?
I like the concept, the idea. Conceptually, it's good, but I felt like those performances lacked some luster.
Yeah.
Like, they were
Execution
kind of
was a
like,
little
meh.
interesting.
I think that music shows really don't lend themselves to band environments,
No.
because if you look
No, they don't.
at live performances from like the groups that we all know and talk about, the idol groups that we all know and talk about, that like their music show performances, they're fake playing, right? Because they can't play their instruments. The actual abilities and the energy when you watch like live stages or like live films is completely different energy. And I think that if you could see that group live, that would be awesome. Because how many times do we talk about K-pop boy groups with like a live band just wrecking it? And that would be amazing. I feel like that would be incredible. But I feel like, unfortunately, that opportunity is lost to see how great that could be on a Korean music show.
It needs to be like an in-person experience rather than like watching it on a screen, because it takes out a lot of the way of perceiving what's being presented to you right in front of your eyes versus like over a screen. So seeing that, I mean, it's not the first time that such approach was taken. I believe One Us and 1We back in 2018, or like they did like similar stuff. Again, watching it through a screen, I was like, something's missing. Not that it's not good, but something's missing. Like.
Has anybody heard of Iconic Entertainment before this? I mean, because I did a little research on the label side of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was looking into, because I'm like, Iconic Entertainment, I've never heard of them before. And I've heard a lot of the smaller labels. And I guess this is a modeling agency primarily that
models.
went into K-pop. And I mean, those boys are certainly beautiful boys. I mean, gorgeous boys, and they have great voices. I just was like wondering where it was going. I was like,
well, I felt bad for them. We were all set, like on our podcast, we were all set to do a reaction to to their video, and then they didn't even get a video. There was no music video, and I'm like, what is their company doing? Like, how do you debut a new group and not give them a video? Like, come on.
Yeah. But it's like different, like 2Z, their members, their members are models too. But it's like, they have videos, and so it's like you can do it. It's just they didn't.
Very odd. It was very.
It's odd. A weird, like it's a sort of unique concept, and then to have a production company that's not fully backing you is.
I was focusing.
It definitely feels like a waste. Yeah.
I was focusing on the lead guitarist. He was on the right side. I believe his name is Wande, and he's got a very, very interesting look to him. He has a gorgeous voice, and I'm like, I closed my eyes for a moment just because the visuals of it was so jarring. Yeah. And I was like trying to conceptualize what everything, and I'm listening to just the voices, and I'm like, oh gosh, he has just a gorgeous voice.
Yeah.
And I'm like you're saying, it's like, where did they take them? So it's like, I'm like, they've got all these little components, because the guys can obviously sing, they can dance, they can play these instruments, as far as we know.
Yeah.
Because it's everything was backing track. So I mean, there was no live instruments, but we can presume. Where are they taking them? I mean, it's just like, why? I mean, I think it's interesting, but they've got all the components. It's just,
there's potential there, but I just need a company to like step up and
put them in a field
put
them in a field, let them dance, let them sing. Let's see what they could do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that the debut track that we've watched?
I believe so.
It's their first.
Does it feel like, whether it's K-bands or K-pop idol groups, it feels like more and more of these newer companies are trying to get into the marketplace with like minimal investment?
Yeah.
There was another group that debuted recently. I can't remember who it is now, but they didn't get an MV either. They just there was like a performance video. And I'm just like, that's what I don't know. It seems strange to me it just feels like
that hasn't like
everybody's trying to get a piece of the
like,
pie, but they don't want to invest in the pie.
I felt like history's been repeating itself for like what I think the situation that we're in now is pretty similar to, say, early 2010s, because back then there were also like a lot of groups in K-pop in general. You see groups popping out, releasing like one song and that's it. And unfortunately in most of most of them, it wasn't even like a one-hit wonder. Small companies, big names like BTS, they did start small as well. And then I believe A-Pink started as a small company, like they had a small company backing them, but like unfortunately that's pretty much it.
It's just, your commitment. It's like you can start small, whatever your creative endeavor is. It's like you just got to be committed to it, and it kind of feels like they're just sort of only halfway committed.
Well, I feel like I don't think this company is all that small. I just think it's just trying something different and said, oh, these are our models. They can also sing and play some instruments. Let's see if we can, put them on a couple music shows and see if it works. That's kind of what I feel. That's what we got. But it really was. I mean, when I was doing our homework, when I was watching these, and I'm like, Frankie's got us thinking, and I'm like, okay, would this work? And I'm like, I mean, they've got all the parts. That's all the thing. You think about the parts.
Maybe the goal isn't to sell them as idols and artists. Maybe the goal is to give them more, more eyes on them, something unique, and sell them more as because they're also actors and
models.
Models. Yeah. So I mean, maybe it's just another thing to put on the resume to get them some work and get them, and help the bottom line in a different way. So maybe the goal isn't to make great music.
Yeah.
Did you see the drummer?
A lot of companies do that.
The drummer was beautiful. He was a beautiful guy. And the hair, oh my gosh. There's something about that. But anyway.
Big thing in Thailand. Like in Thailand, the actors will do a show, and if they get minimally popular, suddenly they've got recording contracts and they're releasing singles and they're in a band with the rest of their bandmate or their castmates or whatever, because you just ride that wave and push whatever you can to like try to increase your popularity and get more roles and more CFs and whatever, right? So
Gulp.
maybe
They always
it's
have a
just marketing
song on the
ploy.
OSTs.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, also maybe like the fact that we are in a really hard industry right now and a really hard time for small companies or like smaller companies, and people are having to think creatively as because you can't do concerts and you can't do shows. So how else are you gonna, you know, they're not doing like shows and like in-person fashion week, and you know, I think maybe it's well, we're in a pandemic. We've got to think creatively. How are we gonna, you know, get these guys some work? How are we gonna make some money? You know, let's try it. Like, what can our? Let's try it.
Let's do some magic, Wizard of the World. Okay, that's what we're gonna do.
I think it's a little bit of
Fashion Week recently.
Yeah, well, they weren't doing like they did do Fashion Week, but at least from what I saw, they did like video films of a lot of the idols
came out about the time that Fashion Week was going on. So that like that drummer, I could totally see him walking a catwalk, you know?
Oh yeah, he was gorgeous. Yes.
Oh, the guy with the long hair? The guy with the long hair. I think he is a model.
I was just going to say, one thing I did notice looking at profiles and stuff is some of them is not their first rodeo with music. A couple of the members at least were from a group called The King, which was like half Chinese, half Korean, and was years old. I mean, some of them are quite old. They're in the group.
Yeah, some are from 95, yeah.
And didn't really do anything. The group, they did like one song, but also that a lot of them were down for, they share their socials with another group. And when I clicked on that group, it's some of the same members, but just like a band. No.
I saw some different names too.
Yeah, I don't know what the company's trying to do, to be honest. Too much, I guess.
They are. And as I say, a lot of these companies, I was looking into some, they have a big umbrella. They have a big umbrella. So, you know, they get someone that can act, sing and dance, and they just wait and see an opportunity to, you know, slot them in somewhere or jump on some trend or whatever. Yeah.
I just wish the performance, like if that's all they're going to have is performances, that the performance was more dynamic, that like that it stood out more for their sake. Like it's sort of forgettable at this point, and that's unfortunate. Like I just wish it stood out more.
I also wrote down in my notes about styling. Like we just were talking about only one of, okay, and not talking about but like the styling was just for a modeling agency. I thought I was going to walk in and see these beautifully clothed men, and they were all wearing oversized brownish beige clothing that did nothing for their figures.
It was oversized.
You saw all these, and you know they've got something going on underneath those clothes. Let's get a good look at it. Come on. You know, they're selling us a product. Let's see what we're going to get. You know what I mean?
Are they an official group, or is it like a project group? Or
Well, apparently it's official, isn't it, Frankie?
Official. They got their own Twitter and stuff. That's it. I don't know. There's very little. It's really hard to find.
There was a lot of like promo stuff leading up. We were looking forward to it because like we're like, oh, like wizarding. What's their concept going to be? We thought maybe it would be something super cool, and then it was like, there's not even a music
I was looking
video.
For wands.
And they're just
I was looking for wands.
Yeah, exactly. We were hoping it was going to be like a whole D&D campaign, you know, going on, and nothing.
I was just going to mention quickly about how the whole instruments and not sort of thing has been done before, roughly, not very successfully. Wonder Girls took a very quick foray into like playing instruments, but also AOA for a period of time when they first started. Like, and
they had
AOA Black, right?
Yeah.
The subunit.
I watched one of the female drummer. The female drummer, I follow her, I think, on Instagram. I think she has a YouTube as well. She does drum covers. She's awesome.
Okay, we are going to move on to everyone's favourite part of the show.
The Lucy Hour.
Yeah.
Today's quiz is called Eyes, Lips, Nose. We're going to have, I've got 15, I've got a few, might even be more, who knows? I was on painkillers when I made this. It's all a bit,
I hope you're better.
It is all a bit weird. Alex did the quiz last night. And she said they'll never get it. It's too hard. As we know, you suck, except for Lucy. You're going to see someone's eyes. It's going to be an idol. Some of them are bands too. So I'll put some band members in here. I might give you a hint and tell you. I'm going to do some hints because I think it probably is a bit hard. I'm going to show you the eyes. If you get who it is from the eyes, you get 10 points. If no one gets it, I'll reveal the lips as well, right?
I've got lag as well, so everyone's got a head start.
Oh, yeah.
And she still
It never
was.
helps us any other week, so.
So what we're going to do is, if you get the eyes, you get 10 points. If you get the eyes and lips, you get 5 points. And if I have to put up the eyes, nose, and lips, you only get 2 points.
All I see is lips, and
Those are lips here. Those are eyes. Those are eyes.
Eyes.
That eyeliner.
This is not what I'm expecting though.
I thought you were like a whole section, dear. It's just, there's no.
Oh, yeah.
Trish said Trish.
Oh, Trish, sorry.
Oh, well, I'm not sure now. I was going to say Minho from Shiny.
No.
Oh,
Lauren,
Yes,
is
Lauren?
that TOP?
I know those eyes. I know them.
I thought Minho too, and then I saw the mouth, and I was like, that little lip. That little lip.
That's not old. That's what it looks
I'm
like.
disappointed in myself.
I'm
All
fired.
right, here we go. Next. This is from a
Svensson.
boy group. Yes, Svensson?
JB from GOT7.
No.
No.
It's a group with used to have 10 members, now has 9.
Oh, never mind.
Lauren?
Yes, Lauren?
Is that Win-Win?
No.
No.
Lucy?
Is it Kina?
Yes,
from
it is.
Hanson?
Yes.
I did not even recognize that picture.
I was looking pretty small.
Kino in black hits different.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
That is not.
Just Kina. Just Kina.
This is
Well, someone's
another-
being punched here.
Another large group.
Okay.
Those eyes look familiar.
They had a music video recently that was like a short film.
Didn't help at all.
Can't remember his name.
Is it from that zombie?
I know which group.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on. Oh my god. Which member? Oh my god.
I know the group.
Yeah, I know. That's my name.
He's my bias. He's my bias.
Oh,
what?
Trish.
Trish?
Why?
Is your bias?
Yes,
From
Sungyun.
Gongtao.
Oh, I was like, which one? I couldn't recognize.
Oh, I would never know this
Gongtao
is
is
Golden
one of my
Child.
ults. Fuck.
Yeah.
I was like, is that
Oh.
Kiba?
I know none
Like, I
of
was
them.
like,
That's why,
I know none of
that's
them.
why I put
I don't know any of them either.
I
This
know
is
those guys.
this is someone from a band that has been talked
Lucy.
about today.
Lucy,
Yes,
is it Sunkill from Ben Playing?
yes, it is.
Yeah, I just say I was like, she doesn't
Wow.
I
get
know
it.
those eyes.
Well done,
There's a lot of
Lucy.
time spent into those
Husband
eyes.
goals. That's my
He
husband
is so
goals.
beautiful, isn't he?
He's a wonderful human being, and I hope that he's happy and dating someone and like gonna have adorable little babies somewhere.
Yeah. Oh,
Ooh.
oh,
This is
whatever they
this is
want. Yeah.
a favorite of one of our panel.
Oh.
Be a little bit more mature.
Oh.
Lauren, is
Yes,
that
Lauren?
is that Hongi?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Kirsty? Kirsty?
No, it's not.
Yes, Kirsty?
Is it
Oh,
Ito?
come on.
Yes,
From
it
Super
is.
Junior?
I was waiting for it.
Oh, Mike.
I knew. The moment she said older and I knew it's Lee Took, but I just like
I knew
This is
it was.
me
I was
out.
like, no, Mike.
Queen.
Mike, every freaking quiz, you're sitting there saying you know them and you never answer them.
I'm horrible. Okay, I suck. Okay, I put this up already.
I'm not saying
Gonna
saying you
suck.
suck.
Okay.
He is
I'm
gonna
just
divorce
saying,
you.
it seems like you know them, but you just have to call your name out. All right? Okay, next
Just
one.
try.
I will not drink next time. Okay.
Oh, Kirsty.
Svensson.
Kirsty?
No.
No,
I
Kirsty.
take that
Jesse?
back. I will.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Svensson.
Oh.
Those context.
Benson, yeah?
Is that Nikun from 2 p.m.?
No.
No.
It's from a. I'm not going to give it away because I reckon you'll get it probably soon.
What? Lauren,
Yes,
is
Lauren?
that Dongun from Ace?
Yes, it is.
That's my baby. It ain't
Yes,
nobody.
it's killing it. Yes, it's killing
It
it.
looks
guys.
different.
I'm horrible.
Yeah,
at
that's from like Colin era. That was
Yeah, it's an older
Yeah.
photo.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Kirsty,
Oh.
Yes,
Oh,
Kirsty?
is that Yosa from 80s?
yeah, it is also my baby.
Yeah. Beautiful. Okay, apparently not everyone sucks at this game. Only
Yeah,
only
you
the
can
regular
tell
panel.
Alex that
That she sucks. Okay, this is I'm not going to say. If you don't get it by the next one, I'll give you a hint.
no.
This is one of the groups.
What?
This one of the groups is on Kingdom.
What?
Would you do that? Like two of the same group back to back? Is that what you're doing? That looks just like it. Oh,
No, it's not.
that looks like.
Wait,
Trish.
Not Bobby.
Oh, Trish.
wait.
Not Bobby.
No, never mind. I was
Okay,
going to say
it's-
Dawn, but I don't think that's right.
Oh, whoa, whoa,
Wait, wait,
But you didn't guess it.
But
so
it-
you don't
where'd
get
it go? Where'd it go?
Here's two in advance.
Sorry. So this is, I'll give you Trish 5 because it was Dawn.
Oh, okay. Trish.
Obviously, you'll guess Trish.
Is it Sunmi?
No.
No.
Lauren,
Yes.
is that Hyuna?
No.
Looks.
Sunsen? Sunsen. Is that
Yes.
is that East from Luna?
No. Okay, I'll give you last. It's a 5-member girl group.
Brooke?
Yes.
I don't. Is it?
Kirsty.
I don't. Is it somebody
Sorry.
from Red Velvet?
You got it.
Wendy?
Mike.
Have a member? No. Kirsty, you and X?
Is it Joy?
No. One
It's
last
not
guess?
Joy. What?
Oh,
Is it
then
Mike?
it's
Is it
Yeti?
Irene?
Is it Yeti?
No.
It's
I don't know.
Yuri.
So Yuri.
Yeah, you're all too slow. This next one is a band member from a group that was talked about today.
I can assure that this is not day 6.
Someone
Lauren,
wants to answer, they can say
Lauren,
their name.
Lauren,
Lauren?
is it
Buffering.
Dome? Is it Dome?
Yes!
What is it? How's it go?
Wait, did you get that with the? Was it just the eyes?
I think you had, I don't
I think
know. You
it's
can
a
say
no.
eyes and mouth.
Goodbye,
Eyes and mouth.
Slippers.
Okay. So next one.
Clemson, you just suck at
I'm making a clown out of myself.
Brooke?
Cantana.
Brooke?
Yes, Brooke.
Is it? Is this? No, it's not. It's not Sunmi, is it?
No, but if you think of something, just say because otherwise you never know. It's a very well-known group.
Mike.
Yes, Mike.
It's BTS.
No,
It's not? Okay, never mind that.
no,
Fuck
it's a
me.
girl group. It's a girl group.
It's a girl
Sorry.
group. It's a girl group.
That is not a girl. That's a man.
It's a girl.
You're gonna be lynched by fans
You're gonna get
tomorrow
dragged.
when this comes out.
No, Lauren.
Sunsen?
It's
Yes,
Lauren.
Lauren.
Jisoo.
Lauren's first.
Jisoo.
Yes, Jisoo.
Oh
There we go.
yeah.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
It was
Let's be
nice
honest.
knowing you, Mike.
The BTS boys are beautiful, okay?
They look beautiful. They were in the eye makeup, but it really is
Fine,
hard to
Mike.
tell.
It is.
Okay, ready for the
Totally
next
could be
one?
a Jungkook, okay? It could have totally
This-
been
I treasured our
Jungkook, okay?
friendship, Mike.
This is someone from a band that we've talked about today.
He looks sad.
I know, and a bit
Yeah.
depressed.
A band that band with 4 members.
Well, that helps.
Yeah, right.
Ooh.
Oh,
Wait a sec.
It's not coming to me.
Giving
And
you
it's
10
really.
seconds.
This is.
Oh,
I wouldn't know
I
the
know.
names anyway.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Rose.
I was gonna say it's the Rose, but I should've
Which
said it.
Rose?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Next one.
Okay.
Lauren.
That-
Kirsty.
Lauren.
Momo.
Yes.
Ah.
yeah. She's got such a distinctive face. You can just.
Yeah, she has. You can just
Any
pull that
part of
eye
it.
to it.
Pichu
Yeah.
is so lucky boy.
So
Lucky
cute.
boy.
He's a lucky boy.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
But
Oh, this
totally
is a beautiful
deserves
man.
it as well, like.
This is a very beautiful man with perfect features.
This is a beautiful man. Oh,
And
what
it's a
the
group,
fuck?
not a band.
Oh, this is a beautiful man. Oh my
And
God.
there's a, yeah. Oh, actually, I'm not going to give you a hint because I might give it away. I'll wait till.
Oh, this is a beautiful man. Oh God.
Do
Yes.
you know who it is or not? Or are you just saying this is a beautiful man?
It's a
You
group
just
that
like
has
these
lost,
features independently?
a group has lost a member in the last couple of years.
And this is how we spiral out of control.
Oh, it's Lauren.
Lauren.
Kihyun.
I said
Lauren, the
Oh,
only one who's
yeah,
paying
yeah.
attention to it.
Kiyun is beautiful. Oh God.
Did you not know who that was the whole time? You just like beautiful.
Wait, I think
He likes
it's
them
going to be
all.
close, and I think I might have given Lauren some of Kirsty's points, and Kirsty said what Lauren say. Okay, because my list is.
Well, you'll watch it back. We'll figure it out. We'll math it.
Oh yeah, we will.
I feel like I'm probably winning.
You are.
You are.
Frankie, please put up
Oh my god!
what a beautiful man.
That's me right now. Okay. Shut the fuck up. All right. Oh, hang on, wrong one. How do I get rid of that now?
Wrong.
Oh, okay. Wrong. Okay.
Okay.
Alright.
Look, I'm just going to say, and if anyone gets this is a member of NCT.
Lauren, win-win.
Yes, Lauren? Oh, but damn, Lauren, you're good.
Yeah, I was looking at it. I was like, that's the win-win earlier. I love him.
You've
Alright.
seen
Yeah.
those new pictures?
Women's
Oh
like
my
my
God.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
GQ pictures
Oh, yeah,
are
with- yeah.
awesome.
Dude, Mike, just
Wait,
got to put
wait.
tape over your mouth.
Can we get a hint?
Oh, yeah, that was...
Get a group that's on Kingdom.
Ah.
What?
Wait. Oh my god. Oh, Lauren.
Yes?
Felix.
Mm.
Oh,
Wow, she's good.
Very good.
I
Okay.
stand them all. Gotta stand them all. Lauren.
what?
I might be wrong. Because we've already said an NCT person. But it looks like Tail to me.
It does, but it's not. This is
Ah.
a very underrated, from someone from a very underrated group. We'll
Okay,
probably
okay.
talk about it next time.
Oh.
Underrated.
They had a
group.
comeback recently.
Wait, recently?
In the last couple of months.
Okay.
Is Lucy?
Yep.
Is it someone from Vanna?
No. But it's from a group that was in Road to Kingdom.
Ah,
Is this ONF?
yeah.
Are you wanting to put an answer forward, Mike?
No.
Lucy,
No,
Lauren.
no.
Lucy.
Lauren?
Is that Wyatt? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I knew it.
Guess that and I didn't. I need to
I
That's why
suck
she
dicks,
say
I
my
know
name
that.
sometimes.
Never hold back, guys. Okay.
Yeah, no,
Here's
hold on.
one. This is a beautiful, beautiful boy who is also one of my biases.
Brooke.
Yes, Brooke?
Is it Wahoo?
No.
Kirsty.
Dang it. I saw the
Yes,
blonde
Kirsty?
hair.
Is it Hoshi from 17?
No.
Lauren.
Swenson. Oh,
Yes, Lauren?
Lido.
Dang it.
Oh, wow.
I was guessing on the blonde hair and I was wrong.
The
All right.
context threw me a little bit.
Sorry.
Well, yeah, sorry, I won't give hints anymore.
I don't
Double
even know.
points.
Double points.
Oh shit.
make it tenfold.
Now, Alex thought this was someone else, even when I revealed all the parts of his face, and he does look like someone else. And I'm just gonna be interesting to see if you guys think it's this person as well.
I wouldn't want to go first then, because it's most likely going to be wrong.
Have you used the same group twice?
No, I haven't used any group.
Okay.
Is it a bias?
One of my biases? No.
Yes. Okay, then.
Probably somebody's bias. Like,
Well, you're not the
I
one
mean,
making
in
the
the world, yeah.
task
Okay, it's
for
a
us to
group.
figure it
I'll
out.
give you a hint. 7 members.
Well, 7 members. God help us.
oh wow.
know, seven's almost
I'll
popular.
guess because
Yes?
I'll guess. Is it J
Go for
Hope?
it, go for it.
No.
No.
Oh, sorry. What did you say?
J Hope for BTS.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
I think Lauren was the winner by a long way. She smashed it. What did you guys think of the game? Did you enjoy it? Was it too hard? Was it too
That
Yeah,
one
I
wasn't too
loved
bad.
it.
I'm not
I loved
okay, but like,
I have to drink a little bit less on this show. That's all I've got to say.
Before we go, what are you excited about this week? So we got Shiny. Shiny are dropping Atlantis this week. Is anyone else having to come back this week?
Ace
Danielle.
is dropping a another DJ collaboration with Gray,
really?
the DJ duo that did "Starving" by Haley Steinfeld in the middle.
Oh, okay. Ooh, I might
Yeah,
have
so
to
I'm
I'll have to react to that one. Ace, all right. Ace
And Daniel
collab.
has a new album coming out.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because he didn't drop an album with Paranoia. Was that a pre-release?
That was.
I'm guessing so, but like this is another of the color albums. You know, there was like
Yellow.
cyan, magenta,
Yellow
this
or
is
something,
yellow.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
He's doing the printer colors. Yellow,
Yes.
cyan, and magenta.
I
Yes,
used to work in newspapers. I was like, yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode, especially to our special guests, Kirsty and Lauren. We are going to, what are we doing next week? Next week, next week, we're going to be, and it'll be up in a couple of weeks, we're doing Underrated Group. So Underrated Groups is going to be a great episode. Got a couple of special guests on that as well. I have probably uploaded before this our Kingdom debrief. If you're not onto that, watch it, because there's a few of us actually discussing every week what's gone on in the Kingdom series. And also, if you haven't already, check out the Mullet review or send in your favourite mullets to the show at roadtohagdom@gmail.com. Okay, I will see you all next time. Bye.
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 Thanks for having us.
I've always got my flashcards. This is the first one I always put up.
When mine is not working now. I have a list in front of me. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, okay. Yes. This quiz. Oh, we got Lauren's butt. Sorry, my puppy was full screen. Full screen. Full screen, bitch. Oh, I'm gonna do full screen.
I've got a little bit of lag, so I might not talk for a bit after you've asked me something.
That's fine. I'll just cut that out in the editing.
They're gone from Pornhub. Okay, let's put it out there. They're gone from Pornhub. So.
Who the fuck is that? Who the fuck is that? And of course, I still haven't gotten into them like I should have, because I'm such a hoe. It just takes a pretty boy in tight jeans and a wet shirt to.
J-Ho.
If no one's seen him, so what's going to happen?
I'm told I suck very well, thank you.
Oh my god! Kick him out, Frankie. Put mic on you. I have a joke I could insert here, but it is way inappropriate. Uh-oh. More inappropriate than that. It was what's an 11? It's an 11. It's a 10 that swallows. Anyway.
Oh, this delay is just killing you, is it, Lucy?
Everyone ends up yelling during the thing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna yell at all when I talk like this the whole thing.
My eardrums burst. How much of your wine have you had?
Oh my gosh, I love that game, even though I was a fucking bird in it.
You're just like, I have no idea who that is, but that's a beautiful man.
I loved it. I wrote all these notes for nothing, but I loved it. It's all right.
I know. I put an agenda, and then I just blurred it out.